In the world of Heartland, there are moments that leave an unforgettable mark on fans. One of those moments was Ty's tragic death, a loss that shook the very heart of the show and left an emotional void that many still can't fully accept. But what if the impossible was about to happen? What if Ty's story wasn't over after all? The whispers, the rumors, the cryptic hints, they're all pointing toward a shocking and unexpected return for Graham Wardle in Heartland Season 19. Could this be the comeback that fans have been desperately hoping for? Stay tuned, because what we're about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about this beloved show. For years, fans have had to come to terms with the gut-wrenching loss of Ty Borden in Heartland. His passing wasn't just a plot point, it was a pivotal emotional moment that altered the course of the show forever. But after all this time, new developments are shaking up the Heartland universe. Rumors are swirling that Graham Wardle, the actor who portrayed Ty, may be returning to the show for Season 19. And no, it's not just the typical fan wishful thinking. There are real signs that something big is about to happen. Fans are now catching wind of strange clues that suggest Wardle's return could be on the horizon. Perhaps it's just a coincidence, or maybe it's something much bigger, but the timing couldn't be more intriguing. From subtle hints on social media to the fact that Graham Wardle has been increasingly involved in photo shoots, it's hard not to wonder, could this be the lead-up to a return to the world of Heartland? For many, the idea of Ty returning feels like a dream that has faded into the past. After all, his death was a defining moment in the show's history. How could the writers ever bring him back without undoing all the emotional weight his departure carried? Yet, rumors suggest that the writers may have found a way to bring him back without erasing the impact of his death. The concept of a doppelganger, or a long-lost twin, has started to gain traction among fans, providing a way to reintroduce the beloved character without disturbing the show's carefully crafted narrative. A twist like this could open up a whole new world of storytelling possibilities, one that could both honor Ty's memory and provide fresh emotional layers for the remaining characters. Imagine for a moment that Ty, or rather, someone who looks exactly like him, walks back into the Heartland Ranch. It would send shockwaves through Amy and the rest of the crew, especially after years of grieving and moving forward without him. The emotional toll of his return would be astronomical. The questions, the doubts, the unresolved feelings. Would Amy welcome him back with open arms? Or would the years of separation have created an insurmountable emotional barrier between them? And what about the rest of the family and friends who have lived with the hole his death left behind? His sudden reappearance could turn everything upside down. As fans continue to discuss the possibility of Graham Wardle's return, one thing is clear. The speculation isn't just about the character of Ty, it's about the entire emotional direction of the show. Can Heartland truly move forward with the return of someone so deeply woven into its past? Or would this dramatic shift open the door for a whole new era of storytelling, one that explores the repercussions of Ty's death in a way fans have never expected? If Graham Wardle were to return to Heartland as Ty, the emotional implications for Amy Fleming, played by Amber Marshall, would be nothing short of seismic. Amy's journey since Ty's death has been one of personal growth, grief, and transformation. She's faced challenges that have tested her resilience, from managing the ranch to raising her daughter, Lindy, all while navigating the deep, lasting pain of losing the love of her life. The idea of Ty reappearing in her life after so many years would throw her entire world into turmoil. Amy has come a long way since Ty's passing. She's evolved from the young woman who once depended on Ty's strength and support into a fiercely independent mother, someone who has learned to navigate the world on her own terms. But let's not forget, no matter how much she's grown, Ty's memory is still a huge part of who she is. His death, while heartbreaking, marked the beginning of her transformation. His reappearance could send Amy into a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Could she ever truly trust him again after so many years of grieving and learning to live without him? Imagine the internal battle Amy would face if Ty returned. She's built a new life, a life where Ty no longer exists, but where his memory continues to live on, guiding her through the toughest moments. Could she really let go of the life she's built in order to make room for the man who left her behind? Or would his return shake the very foundation of everything she's worked so hard to rebuild? But it's not just about the loss of Ty. It's also about the trauma Amy has experienced in his absence. During the time since Ty's death, Amy has learned to cope with the grief in her own way. But seeing him alive, after all this time, would bring back all the unresolved feelings. Would she feel relief and joy to see him again? Or would the years of separation have built an emotional chasm too wide to bridge? The questions would pile up, and the answers wouldn't come easy. Amy's emotional journey would be flipped upside down, and her personal growth would be tested in ways she's never encountered. Not to mention, the ripple effect of Ty's return would have a profound impact on Amy's relationships with everyone around her. What about Ty's memory? Would the presence of Ty, especially if he were to arrive as a twin or doppelganger, make Amy question everything she had with Ty? Would it cause a divide between Amy and her new family as they grapple with the emotional chaos his return would bring? Amy has worked so hard to move on, and seeing Ty alive would complicate her relationships with everyone. Not just with him, but with the people who've stood by her since his death. Lou, Jack, and even Georgie would all have their own reactions to Ty's return, and none of them would be simple or easy. In fact, some may even question the moral implications of bringing a character back from the dead. Could it taint the emotional depth of the show's past arcs? These are not easy waters to navigate, and the emotional fallout would be massive. The real question is, can Amy forgive Ty for leaving her and move forward, or will the pain of his loss always be too fresh to truly welcome him back into her heart? Amy's emotional journey would be on the line in a way fans have never seen before, and her reaction to Ty's return would be one of the most compelling storylines in the history of Heartland. The stakes would be incredibly high, not just for Amy, but for the entire Heartland family. Heartland has always been about growth, healing, and moving forward, but if Ty were to return, it would force everyone to confront the past in a way they never expected. Would they have the courage to embrace the unexpected, or would the return of Ty shatter everything they've built since his death? The answers lie in the complex emotions of the characters, but one thing is certain: Heartland would never be the same again. The return of Ty Borden would not only create a seismic shift in Amy's life, but it would also reverberate through the entire Heartland family. The emotional impact of Ty's return would touch every character, from Jack and Lou to Tim and Georgie. Each of them has a unique relationship with Ty, and the way they react to his unexpected reappearance would play a crucial role in how the story unfolds. But with such a monumental event, there's no denying that these reactions would be far from simple or predictable. The return of Ty, especially after all these years, would force everyone to confront their past, their present, and their future in ways that are both complicated and deeply emotional. Let's start with Jack, the family patriarch. Jack has always been a rock for Amy, providing wisdom and support throughout her most difficult moments. But Jack's relationship with Ty was always one of quiet respect, tempered with the tension of the past. Ty may have been a good man, but his relationship with Amy was always fraught with challenges, especially in the early days. When Ty died, Jack mourned not just the loss of a good man, but the loss of a part of Amy's life. Now, with the sudden return of Ty, Jack would be faced with a question. How could he reconcile the Ty he knew with the Ty who is now standing in front of him? Would he be able to forgive Ty for leaving Amy and their family behind, or would old wounds be reopened? Jack's reaction to Ty's return would likely be one of guarded skepticism. He would want to protect Amy, as he always has, but would he be able to accept this new version of Ty, someone who may have been absent for years but is now suddenly a part of their lives again? Then there's Lou, Amy's sister, who has always been the more pragmatic one. Lou has never been one to shy away from tough decisions, and she would likely be the first to voice concerns about the emotional toll Ty's return might take on the family. Lou's relationship with Ty was never as close as Amy's, but she understood the depth of her sister's love for him. And she always wanted the best for Amy. With Ty back, Lou would be forced to confront her own feelings about the past and her role in helping her sister move forward. She's already seen Amy go through so much, and Lou might be protective, worried that reintroducing Ty into their lives could undo the progress Amy has made in the years since his death. Lou's pragmatic nature could make her a voice of reason in this emotional storm, but she could also find herself questioning how far she is willing to go to protect her sister and her own heart from the potential heartbreak of Ty's return. Tim, Amy's father, would likely have a more complicated reaction. As someone who has often been on the outs with the family, Tim has had a rocky relationship with Ty in the past. He's never fully embraced Ty as part of the family, and his strained relationship with him could make Ty's return a deeply emotional experience. Tim would likely have a lot of anger and resentment to work through, not just for the past, but also because of the role Ty played in the family's history. Would he be able to put aside his past issues with Ty in order to support Amy and the family? Or would his pride and bitterness continue to cloud his judgment? Tim's reaction would add a layer of tension and complexity to the already emotionally charged situation, and it could create conflict within the family as they try to navigate the delicate balance of reintroducing Ty into their lives. Georgie, the youngest member of the family, would likely have one of the most profound reactions. Georgie has grown up in a world where Ty's memory was an essential part of the family narrative, but she never had the chance to truly know him. Now, with his return, Georgie would be faced with the challenge of understanding not just who Ty was, but what his sudden reappearance means for the family dynamic. She's matured into a strong and capable young woman, but the arrival of someone so deeply tied to the family's history would undoubtedly stir up emotions that even she might not fully understand. Would Georgie see Ty as a symbol of the family's past, or would she struggle with the idea of someone so familiar, yet so distant, trying to step back into their lives? As the heart of Heartland, the ranch itself is the true constant in everyone's lives. The return of Ty would undoubtedly bring a flood of memories and emotions tied to the land and the legacy of the family. The ranch has seen many changes since Ty's death, and its future would likely be shaped by the way the family reacts to the sudden return of a person who played such a significant role in their lives. Would Ty be able to find his place on the ranch again, or would his return cause more turmoil than healing? Could the ranch serve as a place of reconciliation, or would it become a battleground for the emotional conflicts that arise from his unexpected reappearance? In the end, Ty's return would force each member of the Heartland family to confront the past, face their unresolved feelings, and ultimately decide how they want to move forward, both as individuals and as a family. His presence would change everything, and the emotional journey for each character would be as complex as it is unpredictable. But one thing is for sure: no matter how they react, the return of Ty Borden would be a turning point in the story of Heartland, a moment that would be felt by every character and every fan. The return of Ty Borden would not only affect the core family dynamic, but also have a profound impact on the legacy of Heartland itself. Ty's character has left a lasting imprint on the series, and his sudden return would reignite a wave of emotions and memories for both the characters on screen and the fans who have followed the show over the years. The show has always been about growth, healing, and overcoming obstacles, and Ty's reappearance would serve as a powerful reminder of how far the characters have come, but also how much has been lost. Ty's death, as tragic as it was, marked a pivotal moment in Heartland's narrative. His relationship with Amy was at the heart of the show, and his departure left not just a void in Amy's life, but also in the emotional landscape of the entire series. Since his passing, the show has had to evolve without him, and fans have witnessed Amy's transformation into a strong, independent woman and mother. Yet, despite the years that have passed, Ty's legacy has remained a constant thread woven into the fabric of the series. His memory has influenced the growth of the characters, particularly Amy, as she navigates the complexities of life, love, and family in his absence. The return of Ty would challenge the very foundation of the show. How can the writers balance the character's legacy with the need to propel the story forward? The fear is that bringing him back could undermine the emotional weight of his original death, reducing it to a mere plot twist. But could Ty's return also deepen the impact of his absence? Could it force Amy and the other characters to reckon with their grief in a more profound way, making them face the unresolved emotions they've been carrying for so long? The writers would have to carefully navigate these waters, ensuring that Ty's return enhances the story rather than diminishing the emotional arcs already established. The challenge for the show's writers and producers would be to stay true to the heart of Heartland while allowing for the possibility of change. The show has always been about healing, and Ty's return could serve as a way to explore the theme of moving forward while still honoring the past. Ty's reappearance could act as a catalyst for a new phase in the series, one where characters are forced to examine how far they've come since his death, and where the future of the ranch and the family are at stake. It would give the characters a chance to address the grief they've been suppressing and find closure, not just for Ty's death, but also for the emotional gaps that have been left open for years. For the fans, the idea of Ty's return would undoubtedly spark a mix of excitement, disbelief, and hope. Since his departure, fans have held onto the hope that one day the character of Ty Borden might return in some form, even though they know it may never be the same. The show's loyal audience has always maintained a deep emotional connection to Ty and Amy's relationship, and the idea of them reuniting would bring many to tears. Fans have continued to speculate about this possibility for years, and with the new rumors surfacing, their excitement is reaching a fever pitch. The idea of Ty coming back after such a long absence would be a gift for fans who have longed for closure, or even just a glimmer of hope that the character they loved so much could return in some form. Yet, as much as fans would rejoice in his return, the show also has to contend with the possibility that bringing Ty back might alienate some viewers. There's a fine line between honoring the character and his legacy and overindulging in nostalgia. Heartland has always been about balance, balancing the past with the present, the emotional with the practical, and the personal with the universal. The writers must tread carefully, understanding that while Ty's return would be a huge moment for fans, it must also serve the larger narrative of the show. The return of this beloved character must fit seamlessly into the world of Heartland and not overshadow the growth and development of the other characters. The inclusion of Ty would be a monumental moment in the show's history, one that would require careful consideration. How would it impact the legacy of the series? Would it enhance the emotional depth of the characters' stories, or would it risk overshadowing the current developments that have made Heartland so captivating over the years? Ty's return would serve as a powerful reminder of everything Heartland has stood for: love, loss, growth, and healing. But it would also test the show's ability to move forward while honoring its past. The legacy of Ty Borden is undeniably strong, but can the show continue to evolve with him in the picture? Or would his return risk disrupting the delicate balance the show has worked so hard to create? For the fans, the return of Ty would be more than just a plot twist. It would be a tribute to the heart and soul of Heartland. It would be a chance to relive the magic of his relationship with Amy, to revisit old memories, and to see how far the characters have come in his absence. The show's emotional depth would reach new heights, and for many fans, it would feel like the ultimate payoff for years of loyalty and anticipation. No matter what form Ty's return takes, whether as a twin, doppelganger, or in some other unexpected capacity, it would mark a moment that could define the future of Heartland for years to come. The emotional roller coaster that his return would spark is sure to captivate both new and old fans, keeping everyone on the edge of their seats as they wait to see what happens next. The potential return of Ty Borden in Heartland Season 19 would undoubtedly be a game changer for the show. It's not just about bringing back a fan-favorite character, it's about reshaping the direction of the series, pushing the characters into new emotional territories, and exploring the long-term consequences of bringing someone back after years of absence. Ty's return could lead to a seismic shift in the show's overall narrative, and the way the writers choose to integrate him into the story will have lasting ramifications for both the characters and the fans. One key question that arises is how Ty's return will influence the evolution of the Heartland Ranch and the family. The ranch has been the heart of the show, a symbol of both the past and the future for the Borden and Fleming families. In the years since Ty's death, the ranch has undergone numerous changes, with new characters, new relationships, and new challenges. If Ty were to return, it could create a ripple effect that forces everyone to reassess their priorities and their roles within the family and the ranch. Would the ranch continue to thrive with Ty back in the fold, or would his return destabilize the delicate balance that has been established over the years? Ty's reappearance could also lead to new, unexpected relationships and alliances. Characters like Lou, Jack, and Tim, who have all evolved in different ways since Ty's death, would now have to deal with the complex emotions and dynamics that his return would create. There could be new alliances formed between characters who have previously been at odds, as they navigate the complexities of reintegrating a loved one into their lives. On the other hand, old conflicts may resurface, and previously resolved tensions might reemerge, forcing the characters to confront unresolved issues from the past. This could result in some of the most intense and compelling drama the show has ever seen. For the writers, the key will be striking the right balance between honoring Ty's legacy and keeping the momentum of the show's current narrative. Bringing back a beloved character like Ty could be seen as a nostalgic move, but if done right, it could offer fresh opportunities for character development and storytelling. For instance, while Ty's return would naturally focus on his impact on Amy, it could also allow other characters to explore their own unresolved grief or feelings about his death. Characters who were close to Ty, like Lou, Tim, and even Georgie, would have their own emotional journeys to undergo as they process his return. Some might embrace it, while others might struggle to accept the changes it brings. Moreover, Ty's return would likely create a new layer of conflict within the show, particularly regarding Amy's relationships with the people closest to her. Amy's emotional arc has been deeply intertwined with the memory of Ty, and seeing him alive after all these years would create a flood of complex emotions. Would she be able to forgive him for the pain his absence caused? Would their love story pick up where it left off, or would the years apart have changed her feelings toward him? Amy's struggle with this newfound reality would likely become the central focus of the season, captivating audiences as they watch her grapple with the idea of rediscovering love and healing old wounds. At the same time, Ty's return could also serve as a bridge to explore the next chapter of Heartland's journey. For many fans, the series has always been about growth, resilience, and the passage of time. As the characters mature and change, Heartland must also evolve to stay relevant. Ty's return could represent a pivotal moment in this evolution, introducing new storylines that propel the show forward while still honoring its roots. Whether it's exploring the challenges of rebuilding relationships, dealing with the past, or facing new obstacles together, Ty's presence could spark a new era for Heartland, one that builds on the foundation of what came before while pushing the series into fresh emotional and narrative territory. The speculation surrounding Ty's return also raises the question of what the show's future holds beyond Season 19. Heartland has become more than just a television series. It's a cultural touchstone for many fans, a story that resonates with people on a deeply emotional level. The show has navigated loss, love, family, and personal growth in a way few other shows have been able to. Ty's return could mark a turning point, not just in the show's current trajectory, but also in its ability to remain relevant in the years to come. If the writers can use this moment to take the series in bold new directions, the future of Heartland could be filled with even more heart, more drama, and more unforgettable moments that will leave fans hooked for years to come. As we eagerly await confirmation of Ty's return, one thing is certain: Heartland is on the brink of something monumental. Whether Ty's return is a short-lived twist or a permanent change, it will undoubtedly have a lasting impact on the series, the characters, and the fans. The emotional stakes have never been higher, and the possibilities for what comes next are limitless. With Ty Borden potentially back in the picture, Heartland Season 19 promises to be an unforgettable ride, one that will test the strength of the characters, the bonds of family, and the resilience of the human spirit. And for the fans who have supported the show from the very beginning, Ty's return could be the moment they've all been waiting for. Stay tuned, because if this rumor is true, Heartland is about to enter a new, thrilling chapter that no one will want to miss.